Hello and welcome to the final round of Realish Racing's British Sports Prototype Cup. It's been a cracking season, but it's all coming down to this now with our final two races at the magnificent Brands Hatch here in Kent. Tom Brooks, we have a championship to decide. Who's it going to be?
Well, it's very, very easy to call, I have to say. Bryce Harper, just 7 points separating him from his first ever Realish Racing Championship. Going to be very, very interesting to see. 25-minute races, two of them, over 33 laps over this 1.2-mile circuit.
Yep, and James Bryce Harper's already off to a great start to clinch the championship because he's going to be starting on pole position. Here he is with his lap.
Brands Hatch Indy, a really, really tough track to get quick on. It's all about momentum and keeping it up and just not letting the car slide at all. So here we go into turn one. Touch the inside curb to try and get the car to turn in without any more steering input. Then just brake as hard as you can under the bridge. Again, trying to hit that inside curb to pull the car in without losing much momentum. Key not to slide the car because that could lead you a heck of a lot of time. Brake early here because it's really vital you get a good run out of here. Then down into the next set of corners, which are ones you have to be dead brave on. Again, touching the inside curb to get the car to turn in, keeping as far left as possible, trail braking and trail braking. Don't get on the throttle too early, then push it as hard as you can across the line, flat out, 120 odd miles an hour, 44.940 lap time. There we go.
So there we go. Yes, another stunning lap from James Bryce Harper. We've come to expect those from him this season. He's in a position where he's about to win a championship, hopefully from his point of view. Of course, this is the man who only won one race last season, had terrible amount of luck. And of course, if he has terrible amount of luck today, he might not win it yet, but Lee Harrison there behind him is going to do all he can to try and stop that from happening. He was pipped just by 300ths a second, as you can see there. And behind him are the two vying for the rookie championship, Arunas Lingovatis and Samuel. And behind them, Bjorn Golder, Campbell Wallace, brilliant qualifying performance by him. Very short circuit, this is what can happen. Someone has a very good lap, another's mess up, and suddenly you're much higher up the grid than you used to. As Neil Heatley and Pete Walker join them on row 4. April Dillon live, joined by Luke Mason, who's been very impressive in his short time here at Realish Racing, so we'll hope to see some good action from him. Tom Bellingham returning there for the Independables in 12th position. And behind him is Alex Odo. Not a great qualifying session, but we can see we're still only a second behind the pole lap here. So Tom Alderton there round out the season on row 7, Joe Nathan row 8, and James Lambert there, and Matt Davies brings up the rear with Charlie Merritt on row 9. So only 18 runners today, but with such a short track, I think some of the front runners will be glad that there's not going to be so much traffic to go through today.
Yeah, definitely so. In the case of James Bryce Harper and, of course, Lee Harrison, they will certainly be glad of a lack of traffic. Will we see fireworks, though, when the lights go out here in Brands Hatch? We've got a title to decide, and it could go down to race 2. But I dare say, given Bryce Harper's form, especially in qualifying here at Brands Hatch, we could have it decided in race 1. So 3 sets of lights will come on, and then we will be underway here at Brands Hatch. A great start from Bryce Harper off the front row of the grid. Lee Harrison also gets an equally good getaway, and Linkovacius especially, as they come down towards Padding Hill Bend for the first time. Bryce Harper leads from Lee Harrison, going wide there, one of the Kaibitsu cars, I believe, in towards the second corner of Druids Bend, and Linkovacius tapped around by Lee Harrison, Sam Hill rather, I should say. Into the gravel he goes, and meanwhile there is Lee Harrison. Speaking of him, of course, number 7 against his teammate James Bryce Harper, already challenging for the lead as they come down towards the Cooper Straight. In towards the left-hander they go. Lee Harrison on the inside of Bryce Harper. A change of lead there. What an overtake from Lee Harrison, but he goes straight off. Oh no! Lee Harrison straight off at Clearways. Bryce Harper retakes the lead immediately, and now once again, Nick, he is in prime position to take that championship.
Harrison needed to win both these races, and he looked like he had taken the lead just momentarily, but now he's been swamped really all over. He's just having to avoid cars which are a bit skittish on his first lap. Obviously the tyres are still quite cold, so everyone's trying to get a rhythm in going, but Lee Harrison now, he has all to do, and the one person he doesn't want leading the race, his teammate and main championship rival. It looks like he might even have to, he's just going under Paul Dillon there, who goes a bit wide, maybe knowing that Lee Harrison there is in the championship hunt, so not wanting to interfere, but Lee Harrison really has a lot to do, and James Bryce Harper, we predict with the clean air, is probably just going to run away with it now.
Oh dear, what a opening lap there, especially from the two offenders drivers. Meanwhile there, of course, is Alex O'Dell versus April Dillon as they come down the main straight over the timing line for the fourth time to start their 4th lap, and Odell up into 8th place. Dylan relegated down to 9th for the time being. A yellow flag on screen as well. I wonder what's causing that. Has a car gone off perhaps again at Clearways? It goes back to green pretty quickly, so I'd imagine it was quite a minor incident. Meanwhile, there's Tom Belling, of course, of the Independables. We've seen him, of course, out in the past couple of rounds in the championship. Nice to see him make a welcome return, but he did go a bit upside down last time out at Rockingham, Nick. He'll hopefully be not doing much of the same here.
No, thankfully there's a few opportunities for him to do that, but you never know. With Tom Paddock Hill is very steep and the gradient there. We could see some sort of upside down action from him to come, but there's April Dillon there getting various rubbish. He's not been happy in his first opening laps, and Tom Bellingham can just accelerate clean around the outside of her, and he's now up to 9th position, so up from 12th into 9th.
Yes, indeed. So Dylan then down into 10th place, just inside the top 10. Still a good result. Meanwhile, Bellingham, they're getting a lot of understeer straight off onto the AstroTurf, and that allows Dylan to get a run at him in towards Druids. No, maybe not. Bellingham covers the line very nicely, taking some unusual lines, it must be said there, Nick. He's going a bit deep into some corners, perhaps not dealing with the pressure as well as he would like to, but nonetheless, still performing very, very nicely and inside the top 10, and a lack of contact between the two drivers. Very, very nice to see as well.
Yeah, it's a very narrow circuit, of course, so any lack of contact is to be commended. It does seem, as you say, that maybe he's just having a bit of problem with his brakes because he goes a bit too deep, and you can see him struggling, trying to brake and turn at the same time, just trying to make it into corner. I don't think there's been a lap yet where he hasn't taken to that AstroTurf on the outside of Paddock Hill, so we'll see what he does now. If he's low, yeah, he seems to have learned the line a bit better and got his braking point a bit more correct, but again he goes on to green stuff, and now Dylan is right going down the inside of him. He's going to have to leave the door open there so he doesn't come into contact, but as they go through Druids, April Dillon has the better line and has retaken that position.
Great bit of overtaking there for the junior motorsports driver. Bellingham looking to fight back in towards Graham Hill Bend, straight up the inside, side by side between the two, but eventually has to relinquish the position. So Dylan then up into 9th, Bellingham back down to 10th. And these guys are going to have to be careful because, of course, there's Joe Nathan in the RlyR Racing car. He's not too far behind with his distinctive camo livery. And given the understeer that Bellingham's suffering as well, I have to say later on in this race, Nick, it's a very corner-heavy track, and he could certainly be in with a chance of ruining his front tyres.
Yeah, the outside tyres can get absolute pummeling as they go through this race. There's Cam Wallace, who's ahead of Lee Harrison, of course, who went off and now has to fight his way through the field. Cam Wallace started in 6th position, very good qualifying for him. I'm not quite sure where he is in at the moment. I think he's lost some ground from there as he's between the Eiffel Power motorsport car and seems just to be standing his ground. Well, he's not been too fussed by Harrison behind him. We've seen this before from Wallace. He's very cool and calm under pressure, but Harrison will be doing everything he can to try and unsettle the Scotsman.
Yes, indeed. So coming down the main straight then, Lee Harrison, of course, he's got that traffic to contend with. That's really going to be slowing up his championship charge. Of course, it's 25 points for the victory. And we'll come back to that in just a few moments as Lee Harrison straight up the inside of Campbell Wallace. Side-by-side action between the two and a bit of contact, but Lee Harrison up into 4th. Campbell Wallace in the number 64 down to 5th place for the Kaibitsu team. But there we can see Bryce Harper with a 3-second gap to Bjorn Golder in 2nd, Neil Heatley in 3rd, and of course Lee Harrison now in 4th position as well. So lap 7 out of 29. And of course, Bryce Harper needs those magic 7 points to take the championship. As Tom Bellingham goes wide and spins coming out of Graham Hill Bend. Lucky not to get collected there by Alex Odell just behind him, Nick. But nonetheless, he's now down in 11th place, just inside the points, but he's got a bit more work to do to catch up. Yeah,
just a little spin. He got, and there's another one there. He's really not happy, is he? That first spin was from him getting turbo's and grass, but that one just seemed like he locked the Riz up there. So now down into 13th and out the points. It's Tom Bellingham. He's really got it all to do now.
Yeah, and James Lambert, you can see in the forefront of the shot there, he went wide at Clearways as well. Now Link of Atius, the two Tropico Motorsports cars not particularly having a good race so far. A couple of them still outside the points. Bellingham once again opting for that very wide line, indicating that he's got a lot of understeer behind the wheel of that car. Meanwhile, here's Lee Harrison looking to get himself back onto the podium, ahead of Neil Heatley, of course. Up the inside in towards Clearways. This is where he went wide on lap 1. Very, very close between the two. It's going to be side by side coming down the main straight, then the Brabham straight, as it were. It is indeed. So the number 7 versus the Eiffel Power Motorsports car. Around the outside goes the Neil Heatley, and Harrison up the inside. Immediately does Heatley, the Scotsman, tries to get his position back, but once again it is Lee Harrison then once again ahead of the Eiffel Power Motorsports car, but backing it in towards Druids there, Nick. Very, very close between the two, but minimal contact as well.
Yeah, he set that overtake up really well. Neil Heatley didn't have to give him any space through Clearways, but Lee Harrison kind of forced his way through there. And He's pavements now. There's Arunas Linkovacius trying to get by Tom Bellingham here. Tom Bellingham really not happy, and Arunas, of course, started in 3rd position, but was punted off at the 2nd corner. Now, really hasn't made as much headway as you'd expect his pace, but of course it is quite difficult sometimes to overtake here at Brands Hatch, especially when you got someone like Tom Bellingham who's pretty good at defending himself, although with his car skidding all around the place, maybe all Arunas Linkovacius has to do is bide his time.
Yeah, indeed. Of course, a lot of these drivers have been competing for the full season, unlike Tom Bellingham, of course, so they've had the chance to fine-tune their setup, especially at circuits similar to this on the calendar, such as Knock Hill. So these guys have certainly got their setup to a T, and Bellingham, of course, needs to perfect things. Maybe he can sort something out for race 2. Still got in the middle of that Tropico Motorsports sandwich, and Linkovacius trying to make it a Tropico Motorsports 1-2 in this battle, at least. Still outside the points at the moment. Bellingham, though, he's very, very ominous behind Lambert at the moment, as Linkovacius gets a bit wide out of Graham Hill Bend. Still very close between the two, as Bellingham got a very poor exit in towards McLaren, and then in towards the right-hander they go. And Linkovacius up the inside of Tom Bellingham. Great bit of overtaking there from the Tropico Motorsports car, the rookie ahead of the number 33. So great bit of overtaking there. Meanwhile, his teammate, Tropico Motorsports car of James Lambert, up against ahead of Craig Woolard, the Eiffel Power Motorsports car, into 11th place for number 91, and number 86 of Craig Woolard down to 12th and just inside the points. But now the gap at the top 2, Nick, is between James Price Harper and Bjorn Golder, and it's 5.4 seconds. And Harrison can see his title chances slipping away from him by the corner.
Yeah, it's just that you're not going to give James Price Harper an opportunity like that and expect him not to take it. Just been absolutely flawless this season, and 5.4 seconds after lap 12 is pretty impressive. He is a man knowing that he doesn't have to do that much to win a championship, but he's not just going to sit back and let it happen for him. He's definitely going to go and do it in style. You know, Craig Wollard's not content with his 12th position there. He's still harrying James Lambert, and that has allowed Arunas Linkovacius and Tom Bellingham to come back into play. Craig Woolard just had a little look there into had a hill bend, not really an overtaking spot. And Tom Matthews go through, goes Arunas Linkovacius, and James Lambert going very wide there, and Arunas Linkovacius has managed to take his teammate as well in the process, as Tom Bellingham takes Craig Woolard to about 5 different position changes there through one corner.
Indeed, so a forecast scrap we could have for 11th position. You'd think they were fighting for a championship. So the 2 Tropico Motorsports cars lead the Independables and the Eiffel Power Motorsports car. Very, very close is Tom Bellingham, right behind the back bumper of James Lambert. Lambert has been very impressive so far this season, if his moves have been somewhat questionable on track. But keeping things very, very clean as they come over to start their 14th lap out of 29 here at Brands Hatch. Again, opting for that defensive line is number 91 of James Lambert. Bellingham very slow through that Paddock Hill bend. We can see him suffering from the understeer. That's allowing Woolard to get right on the back bumper as well. Bellingham looks up the inside. You wouldn't have thought that was an overtaking opportunity. This move very, very close between the two. Lambert once again closes the door very, very firmly, and rightly to do so. Woolard up the inside though of the number 33. Has to back out of it into Graham Hill bend once again. But he does force Tom Bellingham to go a little bit wide out of that corner and get something of a poor exit. Doesn't allow him to bridge the gap to the Tropico Motorsports car ahead of him into clearways. And Bellingham going very, very wide. They're very, very deep, and up the inside goes the number 86 of Craig Woolard. Gets himself ahead into 13th place. Bellingham down to 14th once again. Lap 14 out of 29. We're now at the halfway stage in this race, Nick. And absolutely cracking battles going on, not even for points-paying positions.
Well, it's absolutely flown by, and as you say, all the major scraps have happened, even just for 12th place. And here we are, leader James Price Harper. Half the race gone. There's still half the race to go. And he looks like he's very, very comfortable there. Just lapping Matt Davies there, I believe. So very calm, very almost like a Sunday little drive, isn't it?
Indeed, yeah. You just know when Price Harper is in the zone, and he's certainly in the zone as well. You can see him just how comfortable he is with the car, not pushing too hard, not setting fastest lap after fastest lap. It's quite important, that, because if he set fastest lap after fastest lap, he would have no tyres left at the end of this race. Or as I should imagine, someone like Bjorn Golder, of course, who's now coming under ever-increasing pressure from Lee Harrison, of course, the other offenders driver in 3rd place. He'll be pushing a little bit harder, Will the German. And, of course, that will mean that his tyres will be that little bit more worn out towards the latter stages in this race. Similarly, Lee Harrison's will, of course, as well, Nick, because he's been pushing since the end of lap 1. And he'll have a very limited tyre life, I should imagine, left in those Dunlops by the end of the 29 laps. Meanwhile, there is Tom Bellingham at the inside of Craig Woolard, in towards the left-hander and in towards the right of Clearways they go now. Whoa, look at that, very sideways from number 86 of Craig Woolard, and very sideways indeed. Loses the rear coming out of Clearways onto the infield of the circuit, and has now lost all that time he had compared to the Independables driver. But nonetheless, it was a cracking battle whilst it lasted, Nick. But Bellingham's next target is the number 91 of James Lambert once again.
Yeah, Bellingham was briefly in the points early in this race. Oh, nice little lunge there. Knocks James Lambert straight away. I'm not really sure that's going to stand, and he might actually just let James Lambert by there again. But yeah, he's seeking to get back into the point. Finished the season relatively strongly considering his lack of running in the season, but actually doesn't look like he is going to give that place back to James Lambert. So James Lambert is now going to squeeze in the gap that wasn't really there. Does the same to Bellingham as he did to him without the contact though. Absolutely fantastic little manoeuvre there from James Lambert.
Did you see how sideways Lambert got going through the left-hander of McLaren? That was absolutely incredible. Nice bit of opposite lock at 120 miles an hour there from the Tropico Motorsports car, and still very sideways going in towards Paddock Hill Bend. He's obviously got a rear bias on that radical at the moment. Up the inside though goes Tom Bellingham in towards Druids. Immediately fighting back though is number 91 and loses the rear once again. Does James Lambert side by side coming out of Druids. Down the hill they come in towards Graham Hill Bend for the 18th out of 29th time. Lambert once again still ahead of number 33, and of course now we've got Craig Woolard once again, who's had a couple of clean laps under his belt, Nick, and is coming right back into the foray.
Yeah, player 3 has well and truly joined this game. Between these two, we've seen the cracking lap. It's like Tokyo Drift here, and Craig Woolard tries to get on the inside there, goes onto the grass. Oh no, he's going to hit the wall. Hits the wall of the pit lane entry there, trying to get by Tom Bellingham on the inside. Had to take to the grass and just completely lost control of his car and almost took out the marshal's post.
Good heavens, that was quite unlucky there for Craig Woolard. Meanwhile, the battle for second still going on between Bjorn Golder and Lee Harrison. Surely only a matter of time. Lee Harrison pulls alongside the number 10 and immediately gets himself ahead. So side by side they were just momentarily as they come in towards Paddock Hill Bend. Track position goes to Lee Harrison, and so does second place for the number 7. So he then is up into the best position he could possibly be in compared to his teammate James Price Harper. But he would have to win this race, would Lee Harrison, to have some kind of a fading hope for this championship going on to race 2 here at Brands Hatch. But currently, as it stands, Price Harper, with more victories under his belt, would be on course to take the championship in just under 10 laps' time. Someone we haven't mentioned, though, throughout this race, Nick, Cam Wallace, coming under pressure from his fellow countryman, Neil Heatley.
Yes, he started in 6th position, and I thought he had dropped back, but he actually benefited from Arunas Linkovacius and Lee Harrison having a little mishap. So his 4th position, not quite on the podium there, but it would have been an absolutely stunning result for the Scot, but also it would be a stunning result for the other Scot behind him. So it's well and truly a battle of Scotland between these two for what would be a season high and really season highlight result for either of them. And as I said, Neil Heatley goes way too wide, but carries his momentum there, hasn't really lost anything, and he's still trying to get by Campbell Wallace there, but of course there's nowhere to go by this Scotsman.
Yes, indeed. So, what was it? I was just having a quick look at the championship results, and Neil Heatley's best result in the championship so far, I believe, was 5th position. That was at Castle Combe in the second race, and Campbell Wallace, in comparison, his best result was, I believe, 8th position at Alton Park. So this really would be a season best for Campbell Wallace. Meanwhile, Linkovacius there up into 10th place now. He has got number 26 of Joe Nathan just in front of him. In towards the right-hander of Clearways they go. And Linkovacius looks very at one with that car. Very comfortable behind the wheel of that Radical in towards these closing stages of this race. And we've seen that a lot, actually, with Linkovacius, especially in the latter stages of the racing. Nick, he's very good at looking after his tyres and very, very comfortable when others are seemingly less so, especially as we come in towards the closing elements of this race.
Yeah, he does seem to come on strong in the latter part of the races, as you say, because of his superior tyre of life there. And Joe Nathan getting a bit wide there, but Linkovacius also had his own little moments, so positions as they were, but really only really a matter of time, you might think, before Linkovacius can get by Joe Nathan. He doesn't really need to rush things. He's not really in contention for any kind of significant result here, so he just want to pick up see what he can do in race 2. Of course, there's the reverse grid, so if he can get himself up into 8th position, he could start on pole for the second race. He's got to dispatch Joe Nathan and another car in order to do that, but still quite a few laps left to go in order to do that.
Indeed, we just had a yellow flag zone on track, so no overtaking through there. In towards Paddock Hill Bend, though, that's not a yellow flag zone. And up the inside goes the number 8, Arunas Linkavatius, through Paddock Hill Bend, up into 9th place. Joe Nathan relegated down to 10th for the American in this race. Will he be able to take advantage of that in towards race 2? Speaking of race 2, this is the man who's going to start from pole position currently there, Nick, in 8th place, number 71, Pete Walker. And of course, we saw what he could do in the V8 Australia cars when he started from pole position. Race 2 at Hidden Valley, of course, he took a well-deserved victory. But here's how he got down to 8th place. He went very wide at Graham Hill Bend, and his teammate, Alex O'Dell, gets himself ahead, and I think that might well be April Dillon as well, getting herself ahead of the number 71. So Walker, whilst going down a couple of positions, will benefit from starting on the reverse grid pole position. Meanwhile there, we've got James Price Harper, number 78, the championship leader, and on course to take the championship in just over 6 laps time. And what a championship it has been from James Price Harper, Nick. He has been absolutely faultless this season.
Yeah, in every single round he started, because of course he didn't attend round 2 due to issues, but in every single round he's attended, he has won race 1, so it looks like he's going to be finishing off the season with that record intact, unless something catastrophically goes wrong with his car, or he plants into the barriers for some reason. Looks like Lee Harrison here, who needs to win this race, but he also needs James Price Harper to not score very well either to keep his championship hopes alive. But Lee Harrison wouldn't say he would be too disappointed. James Price Harper really has been the star of this season, but Lee Harrison has quietly gone about really unnoticed really, but he's had a very strong season himself, obviously, as he is still in contention even in this late stage for the championship, where he's had many a podium and even 2 victories himself, so he won't be too disappointed if it is his friend and teammate who finishes on the top step today.
And what's this going to mean, of course, for the next season? Will they still remain teammates? Will they go their separate ways and launch a championship attack from opposing teams? That will be very, very interesting to see. Meanwhile, on board with Campbell Wallace in the newly re-liveried Kaibutsu car, of course, we're looking at Neil Heatley in the French tricolore flag on the front of that Eiffel Power Motorsports, number 13. Unlucky for some, but certainly not for Neil Heatley today. And I have to say, quietly, Alex O'Dell there, Nick, has got himself up into about 5th or 6th position. So that is a really great result, considering he qualified all the way down in 13th.
Yeah, it would be 6th position, and that's Matt Davies there still getting out of the way. Matt Davies has not had the speed really that he would have liked this season, but he's always shown himself to be a very exemplary driver. He's going to have his work cut out for him now though, because he's got 4 cars trying to lap him at the same time, and in fact he's getting a bit in the way. There's not really anything he could have done about that through clearways now, but Neil Heatley is going to be under massive pressure here from Alex O'Dell, who has April Dillon to think about as well behind him. So they all go through Paddock Hill Bend. They're coming up to Campbell Wallace, who's got just a little bit of a breathing space there, and if he can just hold on for a few. Alex O'Dell going a bit too deep then, having to apply the brakes to avoid Neil Heatley there, but he's right on his tail now.
Absolutely incredible racing as we come in towards the final few laps. Will O'Dell be able to overhaul Neil Heatley for 5th position, the rookie versus the very experienced 30-year-old from Bedfordshire? This will be very, very interesting as they come in towards clearways for the 3rd from last time and head down the Brabham Straight to start their 27th lap out of 29 here at the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit in Kent. On board with Neil Heatley then, number 23, into Paddock Hill Bend, takes a very wide line. He's got a lot of understeer through that car. Is he going to be able to get a poor exit out of there? Will O'Dell be able to get a better one? No, not particularly. Into Drew as they go. And again, you can see how much smoke is coming off the front tyres of Neil Heatley there, Nick.
Yeah, the tyre life here now is going to be going right down to the wire after they've judged it to be absolutely on limit. So 2 laps to go. Yeah, the front tyres, which have taken an absolute pounding all race long, they're going to find it very difficult to do those major stops like into Druids here. Alex O'Dell, you can just see his inside right blocking up there, a bit of puff smoke, but looks like he's got a bit of a better exit here, and is just shadowing Neil Heatley there, who opens the door perhaps very unwisely, because that's going to give Alex O'Dell a chance to pass him into Paddock Hill Bend, and if not, he will have the line for Druids, and he goes straight through, but Neil Heatley cuts back under him. Maybe that's why he wasn't too worried. He knew he could just cut right back under him, and still he retains 5th position. It would be Alex O'Dell's joint 2nd best result of the season. Of course, he came 2nd in the 2nd race of the season, but he definitely wants to finish on another mini high, and it goes straight down into Graham Hill Bend. And is he gonna? I don't think he's quite got a position there, as Neil Heatley's got the inside line now. When April Dillon is now stalking the 2 of these, it's really going to be difficult to predict who is going to finish ahead of all these three.
Incredible as they come in towards the final corner to start their 29th and final lap here at Brands Hatch. Odell in 5th, Neil Heatley in 6th position. Dylan there, of course, not too far behind. The Swede in 7th place, number 314. Will she be able to overhaul Neil Heatley as they come in towards Paddock Hill Bend for the final time? It's still Odell versus Heatley versus April Dillon as they come in towards Druids Bend, under the bridge, in towards the right-hander, find the braking point, find the apex, find the exit, out of the corner, down the hill, in towards Graham Hill. Incredible racing between the two. Through the left-hander they go. And side by side they will be, surely, because Heatley's gone very, very wide in towards the left-hander, and McLaren out the inside for 314. Dillon versus Heatley in towards Clearways once again. Surely not. Surely not. Oh no, Dillon goes wide and spins out in the final stages of this race.
Spin on the gravel too, so Neil Heatley is going to finish in 5th.
Incredible racing side by side though between Pete Walker as well as Arunas Linkevicius as they come in towards the right-hander. It's still going on though. The battle is still ensuing onwards. The racing is still continuing onwards as well. Not entirely sure what's going on with the graphic at the top of the screen. Bryce Harper though, he is on his 29th lap. Absolutely fantastic racing. So Lee Harrison there in 2nd place. Bjorn Golder is in 3rd. Campbell Wallet in 4th. And incredible down the order now as well. Who's going to get the reverse grid pole position as we see a bit of missing bodywork from Craig Willard's car there as well. So that is, of course, due to his collision with the pit wall earlier on. Absolutely fantastic, though, there, Nick.
Well, we spent all of last season trying to work out if he'd lost any of his front bodywork, and now he's definitely lost his rear bodywork, as we can see from there. But yeah, apologies for the timing mix-up. I don't know if you're getting the same lap counts as we are, but for us, we're observing 31 laps of 29, so bit of technical difficulties on here, so we don't quite know when the race will end, but we don't really want it to, such as the action that we're seeing now. And Arunas just down the inside into Druid's hairpin. Has he made the position? Neil Heatley is fighting back, but I think Arunas has got the line here for Graham Hillsbend and is up into 5th position. Only a few laps ago, really, was down in 9th. Now suddenly is right up there.
Absolutely fantastic. So, Arunas Linkevicius, what a recovery considering his lap 1 dramas at Druids Bend. Fantastic to see. Incredible racing between the two. So, I believe it's 33 laps. So, that graphic at the top of the screen is incorrect indeed. So, it's 33 laps out of 29, I should say. So, in towards Paddock Hill Bend. So, this will be the penultimate lap, I believe, for these guys. And coming onto the final lap shortly will be James Price Harper. So, apologies about the confusion we've had there, but Pete Walker up the inside of Neil Heatley. Oh, into Druids Hill Bend. Oh, blimey. Very, very tight on the exit there. Walker up into 6th, Heatley down into 7th place. And Odell, of course, coming into the play as well. So we are indeed on the final lap here at Brands Hatch, and some smoke coming there from the back of Alex Odell's car. Nick, we've seen some engine failures in the championship before now, and I dare say he's got a few gearbox issues, I should imagine, because such as the amount of gear changes that these cars take, Odell does not look to be comfortable behind the wheel of that Radical, especially with that smoke pluming out the back. We'll see and keep an eye on it as they come onto their final lap to see how that progresses onwards.
Yeah, he's in 8th position here, so if it finishes as is, then he would start race 2 on pole. So maybe he should just sort of back off a bit, not really go for his position, because you can see the oil now must be going onto his tyres, and you can see him how unstable the rear of his car, of course, has been unstable for most of the race, with a lot of cars here today having trouble rear locking. But he's going to go for it. He's not going to settle for 8th position. Down the inside of Neil Heatley goes, up into 7th position goes the Power Racing driver.
Incredible, great bit of overtaking there from Alex Odell. So they are indeed coming on towards the start their final lap. Meanwhile, coming through the final couple of corners, number 78, James Price Harper, stand up and take a bow, my friend. What a championship it has been. It is indeed, as he comes onto the Brabham Straight for the final time. James Price Harper, he takes the championship. The Realish Racing British Sports Prototype Cup belongs to the number 78. What a season it has been from the number 24-year-old from Kent. Incredible. Lee Harrison, a valiant effort, but it was second best for the Offenders. But nonetheless, an Offenders 1-2. What a season it has been for them. And the Constructors' Championship, of course, will go their way as well. The final podium position, I believe, will still be Bjorn Golder, and I think Campbell Wallace will just about hold on to 4th as well. And 5th position, surely it is indeed going to be Arunas Linkevicius. Number 8 comes across the line to take 5th. Pete Walker 6th. Alex Odell, a valiant effort in 7th as well. And further down the order, we can see the other cars crossing the line. What an action-packed race we had there, Nick. incredible. What a championship, and very well deserved by James Price Harper.
Yeah, looks like Alex O'Dell's engine was on its last legs there, so the end of the race couldn't come soon enough. But as you say, James Price Harper has been absolutely magnificent this season. Thoroughly well-deserved champion we have here. He waited a whole season last time around to win a race. Well, at the end of this season, he's going to have the number 1 on his car. As you can see, it's 7 seconds there from Lee Harrison, so he took it a little bit easy, but as we know from James Price Harper, he wouldn't have completely gone into cruise control. Bjorn Golder, very quiet podium there for the German. He'll be very happy with that. Campbell Wallace, excellent result there from him, even though he's 30 seconds back from the lead. Still, 4th position, the Kaibutsu racing driver. Be absolutely thrilled with that.
Fantastic. Tom Bellingham just outside the points there in 13th, as we can see. Also outside of the points, Woolard, Davies and Charlie Marriott. Tom Alderson did not make the finish, and Luke Mason unfortunately failed to start this race owing to some kind of issue with his car, I believe. So he did not make the start for the Two-Tone Racing team, and I don't think he'll take the start for the second race as well. Such are the rules and regulations that we have here. So that's the championship decided here for the British Sports Prototype Cup, but we of course got another race to come. All the pressure's off, and all the gloves coming off as well here at Brands Hatch.
The Realish Racing British Sports Prototype Cup is brought to you by WTF1.co.uk and sensiblegaming.com.
So, welcome back to Brands Hatch, where we have our Realish Racing British Sports Prototype Cup champion, James Price Harper, who took pole position and won the race in an emphatic style. So, all that's left here to do is the final race of the season. There's all nothing to play for except for glory. Tom Brooks, well, if it's going to be anything like last race, then it should be an absolute cracker.
Absolutely, I'm really looking forward to this one. As I said before the break, all the pressure is now off. Of course, all the drivers can relax a little bit more, and the results are not so important, especially at least for James Price Harper, of course. Still some battles going on further down the order. Of course, we've got Sam Hill and Arunas Linkovacius. They're going for rookie honours. But meanwhile, we'll come back to that in just a few moments, because it is indeed Neil Heatley, despite his demise, Nick, in the latter stages of the first race. He'll start on pole position.
Yeah, he went backwards in those last few laps, but as you say, conversation is he's going to start on pole position there. Alex O'Dell, who almost didn't make it to the end, his car was smoking like a train by then. It will start in second position now, as they're all going to come to the grid. So, as we saw before, overtaking at Brands Hatch can be tricky, but it is still very much possible, and we should see plenty of action here through the opening laps.
Indeed, Price Harper, of course, he's right in the traffic as well, starting in 8th place following that victory. So it'll be interesting to see how he does fare as when the lights go out, rather, I should say, and the green light comes on, because he'll be amongst traffic, which is something we haven't really seen from Price Harper, actually, in the season. It'll be interesting to see how he deals with it, what his style is like in comparison to those around him, and what sort of progress he makes throughout the field. But of course, the final race of the British Sports Prototype Cup is about to get underway here at Brands Hatch. The 3 sets of lights will come on, and as soon as they go out, we will go for the final time in 2015. A good start there from Pete Walker off the second row of the grid. Also, we've got Alex O'Dell making a very good getaway. And Neil Heatley, of course, though, he made an initially good getaway, and Lee's coming in towards Paddock Hill Bend. It's the top 3 rather, I should say, occupied by the top 3 off the front row of the grid. In towards the left hand of Druid Hill Bend they go. Unbelievable overtake there from Alex O'Dell on the inside, and lots of overtaking going on, as well as Joe Nathan is facing the wrong way through Druid, and also there we've got Charlie Marriott going the wrong way as well. Very lucky not to collect the number 26 of Joe Nathan, and the Tours Reyes Motorsports cars, Nick, going absolutely side by side as they go through Graham Hill.
Oh, don't dare look, really. Or four wide almost there through McLaren. Oh, and Sam Hill just gets a little nudge there from Craig Warland, but he manages to continue on his way unharmed. James Lambert is there stalking to see if he can get anything from there, as is April Dillon right on his back bumper. So as you'd expect on that one, no Satel Racing, Sam Hill is going to try and go around the outside here. And Craig Warland, of course, Sam Hill is in a battle with Arunas Linkovacius. Who will be the top rookie? Of course, none of them are rookies in the truest sense. They both have extensive sim racing experience, but in Realish Racing terms, they really want to be the one to take away the rookie championship. A kind of rite of passage almost for an aspiring future champion. But at the moment, Sam Hill has got everything to do as Arunas Linkovacius.
Oh no!
Just avoids Craig Warland sideswiping in there as he got a bit wide coming out of Graham Hill Bend, but it's Craig Warland who once again has come off worse in that situation. Of course, in race 1, he completely destroyed the back of his car and went into the pit lane wall.
So Pete Walker leads the way then as they come on towards the start. Lap 3. In second place, Realish Racing, only just from Alex O'Dell, who's looking to change that and turn it into a power 1-2. Looks up the inside in towards Paddock Hill Bend. Pete Walker caught napping though, as Realish Racing immediately looks to take advantage of it. In towards Drew as they go, find the braking point and finds the apex much more than Pete Walker does, and takes the lead, does the Lithuanian driver. So the number 8 up into the lead of this race. Pete Walker down into second, potentially third, as Alex O'Dell will look to take advantage of that. Through Graham Hill they go, and in towards the left-hander of McLaren. So on board with the number 23 of Alex O'Dell. Look at the different lines that Pete Walker is taking. Oh, and clips that curb. We've seen that so much, though, especially in race 1. We saw so many drivers losing the rear coming out of that corner, just hugging the curb too tightly, Nick. And once again, O'Dell falls victim to it.
Yeah, of course, the inside tyres were on that curve, a bit less grip. So as they accelerate through that corner, the car decides it wants to try and spin around then. Alex O'Dell, just the latest victim of that, goes wide there. We've seen so many of them do it at Hill, but also because of that green one off there. No real punch from that. Lee Harrison there, second in the championship, isn't it? Having to fight his way through the field. Of course, he started in 7th position, trying to get by here Alex O'Dell for what will be 4th position, I believe. But Alex O'Dell is not giving up by any means. It's the final race of the season, and he wants to go out with a bang. Campbell Wallace there already.
Oh no! Contact! Unbelievable between Lee Harrison and Alex O'Dell. Through the left-hander of McLaren, just going through Surtees they were. Oh, they were lucky not to come off far worse than that. I do hope they haven't got any damage to their cars, but how they kept facing the right way there, Nick, after that was absolutely detrimental to their car control and their skill as well.
I was sure both of them would end up in the wall, but somehow they both managed to just hold on tight, and they kept going, still in 5th, 6th position. Tom Benham there didn't have a great race last time out, but currently in 12th, he's looking to have much better time with it now as he goes right down inside Matt Davies there. Oh, but way too wide. He's had problems that corner all through race 1, and they continue today. And it looks like Joe Nathan is going to take that 12th position away from Tom Benham, and has a little look there at Matt Davies, but not really close enough just yet to take away 11th place.
I have to say that I saw Bryce Harper going very wide through Paddock Hill Bend as well. I think he was caught up in a few lap 1 dramas, Nick, and I think he might be suffering from some kind of damage to his car as well, which will be a torrid bit of luck actually for the newly elected champion. Be very disappointing to see, but we'll see if he can make any progress throughout the rest of this race. But he must have some kind of damage, because he would have made far more progress than this, especially from 8th place, considering where he's sitting in the race so far.
Yeah, he started in 8th place. So he had only made it up to 7th place by the end of the 2nd lap. So maybe that's when the contact happened, if that is indeed what's causing his slower pace. But sure, we'll find out the answer soon enough, as these three are still scrapping with each other. Tom Bellin, of course, starts to go straight down the inside there, takes both cars at once, one clean swoop. Tom Bellin now up into 11th position with a very good overtaking manoeuvre.
Joe Nathan then down to 12th position. Matt Davies down to 13th. He was the unlucky loser in all of that, unfortunately. So out of the points once again for the number 85. But don't count your chickens just yet. Even though he's only got a couple of points on the board, Matt Davies, he could still be in with a chance. We saw some late lap dramas. Hopefully you won't be doing too much more of that grass tracking. Brands Hatch did used to host Rallycross back in the 80s, but certainly not today, and these cars are definitely not designed for those sorts of purposes. So stick to the tarmac is my advice. Meanwhile, there's Lee Harrison in 5th place, Campbell Wallace in 4th, and Neil Heatley there in 3rd. So Scott's in 3rd and 4th position. Lee Harrison, the Yorkshireman, goes very, very wide through Graham Hill Bend. I'm not entirely sure what happened there, Nick. Do you think he just caught the white line going through that corner, or was he just caught up with the late braking of Campbell Wallace and had to go a bit too deep just to avoid contact?
Yeah, it looked like he was caught napping, really. There's just no way he was getting able to stop time. James Price Harbour trying to recover the field has tagged namesake James Lambert there, and he's having to let him stay there. And that allows Lee Harrison now to catch right back up to him. And in fact, he's going to take advantage and take 2 positions away. So despite going way too deep at Graham Hill Bend, this lap actually hasn't resulted in any much of a positions loss there for Lee Harrison. Now currently occupies 8th position.
That will feel pretty sweet, I should imagine, for Lee Harrison after losing out the championship by just a few seconds after a masterful recovery drive from the offender's driver, overtaking his newly elected champion and his teammate, of course, a good friend as well. That will feel very, very nice, I am sure, for the number 7. Meanwhile, an absolute train of cars involving Linkevicius as well as James Price Harper. James Lambert, rather, I should say. James Price Harper, Tom Bellingham, and of course, we're on board now with Joe Nathan. So I have to say that James Price Harper, rather, really must be suffering from some damage. You'd easily be able to see him getting ahead of the likes of Lambert and this gaggle of cars. So unfortunately, Bryce Harper's race looks to be pretty halted. More, I say that actually, because he's still trying to get himself ahead of James Lambert there, Nick. And try as he might, now down in 10th position at the moment, he's going to have to try a little bit harder.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any kind of obvious problem. It just seems that there is a general lack of pace in that car. Maybe something has happened to him. Maybe it could be some kind of engine related issue. He's just not getting enough power here. As you can see, he's not really making up too much gap on James Lambert, and he tries to go around the outside of Paddock Hill. It's going to be very brave if he can make that stick, but in fact, he has to say that he does manage to sweep all the way around the outside of James Lambert and is now up into 9th position as Tom Bellingham here tries to break into the top 10.
Incredible. So the Independables driver looking to get himself a couple more points on the board after finishing outside of the points for the first time this season in the races he's competed in. He'll be looking to get a couple more on the board for the Independables. Not seen Dan Thorne, of course, in this race, so just the one Independables car being represented here at Brands Hatch. Smoking the tyres there for James Lambert, who got it all wrong going into clearways, and that's allowed the number of Tom Bellingham to get absolutely on the back bumper, or the rear wing I should say, of that Radical. Lambert goes defensive, forces Bellingham to go towards the outside, in towards Paddock Hill Bend. Over the crest of the hill they go, and number 33 Tom Bellingham has to think about it again. And of course Joe Nathan, who is not caught up in any battle so far, is coming right into play as well, but up the inside, a very opportunist move once again from Tom Bellingham. And it's not paid off, unfortunately, because, well, it has indeed, because he's got himself up ahead of number 91. But do we think that was a bit too over-optimistic, or just a racing incident?
Well, he did something very similar in race 1, and he didn't feel the need to let James Lambert by, but he must have done this time because he slowed right up and let James Lambert. He did pretty much punt him off the apex there, so it was a fair play there from Tom Bellingham to let James Lambert back up, and decides he's going to overtake him a bit more, trying to do it a bit more fairly this time. Meanwhile, there's Campbell Wallace. They're still stuck to the back of Pete Walker there, so showing great pace here for somehow Campbell Wallace, showing that 4th position in race 1 was no fluke at all. In fact, if he's just dispatches Pete Walker here, then he could find himself even up into 2nd position with Neil Heatley there.
Yes, indeed. So Campbell Wallace there, number 64. He's having a very good run at Brands Hatch, certainly suiting his style. I know that Campbell is very fond of this circuit, actually. Having raced against him in some other Realish Racing events, I have to say that he always does do very well here, and that is testament to his results so far. So lap 13 out of 33 we're on here at the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit in Kent, and in towards Paddock Hill they go once again. And down the hill in towards Druids. Up the inside looks number 64 against number 71. Goes very, very deep into there. Loses the rear. Lucky to hold on to it, but loses all of that time and all that ground he made up against the Southern Yorkshireman of Pete Walker, and has to do it all over again, unfortunately, Nick.
Yeah, we haven't touched on this before, but we might notice the 250 on Campbell Wallace's nose. He is celebrating his 250th club race there, so maybe that's also inspired some of the space there. Oh, it goes nice. Pete Walker just left enough of a gap there for Campbell Wallace to slip up, and now the Scotsman is on the podium. What is about Brands Hatch and Scotsman? We've seen Gordon Shedden win BTC titles in dramatic fashion in this circuit, and currently we have Scots occupying 2nd and 3rd position in this race. Absolutely.
So incredible dominance from the Scots in towards the latter part of the season. Oh, very, very close between Pete Walker. Tags the rear of Campbell Wallace. Through Druids they go. And Walker fails to get a very good exit out of there, unfortunately. Wallace on the grippier tarmac, able to get better traction and hold his position and hold the line in towards the left-hander of McLaren, or sorry, it's 30s rather, and then into McLaren, I should say, before clearways. Very difficult corner is clearways. You have to brake and turn at the trail at the same time, known as trail braking. And we've seen some drivers master it. Other drivers fall foul, unfortunately. But coming over the timing line once again. And biding his time is Pete Walker, which is good to see. He's not making any rash decisions. Meanwhile, Lee Harrison, number 7 there, sets the fastest lap of the race, a 55.5. So, despite his position on track, he's not in too much traffic and he's doing very, very nicely there indeed. And setting fastest lap after fastest lap will be very, very nice. A good feeling for him. But number 33, Tom Bellingham, up the inside of number 85 there. That, of course, is Matt Davies. So that actually is a battle for position. I thought Matt Davies was getting out of the way there to be lapped, but it is indeed a battle for position. So Bellingham up into 13th. Matt Davies all the way down now to 15th as Craig Woolard, rather, number 86, has got himself up ahead of the PSP Motorsports driver, and is able to take advantage of the driver's demise once again.
Yeah, it's just calmed down a little bit here, as it did in race 1. Halfway through, some of the drivers perhaps thinking about nursing their equipment to make a late charge at the end. But here is Alex O'Dell fending off James Bryce-Harper, our new champion. So James Bryce-Harper now only still up in 7th position, 16 seconds off the lead here. Rinus Linkovacius himself is 9.5 seconds ahead of Neil Heatley. So looks like the Lithuanian's going to be well placed to take another victory here. But Alex O'Dell doesn't look like he's been harassed too much by James Bryce-Harper. But obviously he's not going to be able to relax too much. And in fact, James Bryce-Harper's got a nice little run here onto Brabham. So I could be eating my words here, as James Bryce-Harper might be able to take away another position away around the outside. We've seen him do that a few times before, and again he does it around the outside of Alex O'Dell. Up another position goes James Bryce-Harper, and Alex O'Dell's going to have a little look there, as James Bryce-Harper's gone way too deep there into Druids. But is he going to be able to cut back underneath? Again, he's taking position, and is Alex O'Dell going to be able to send one up into Graham Hill Bend? No, it isn't. So James Bryce-Harper, oh, he's gone straight off there. So these two drivers, looks like neither of them really wants to take this position away. But the battle for 6, as it is now, standing, Alex O'Dell is still in that position.
Absolutely fantastic racing between these two. Very good friends they are, but don't count that out on track, because of course they are very, very bitter rivals on the circuit as well. And O'Dell has had something of a turbulent season, shall we say, after having missed a few rounds in the championship earlier on due to a few personal issues, and is now really coming back into the forefront of things. Bryce-Harper still all over the rear wing of that number 23. The designated livery car. Oh, Bryce-Harper goes nearly straight on into Druids, locks up the rears, or the fronts rather I should say, as it looks in towards the hairpin there, and was very lucky not to end up in the kitty litter, as it were, but has lost a couple of car lengths to the number 23 of Alex O'Dell. Meanwhile there we've got Joe Nathan in the final points paying position. Nick, and it goes a bit wide under Graham Hill Bend, very lucky to hold on to that.
Yeah, it looked like he closed up massively on the I think that's Sam Hill in front of him, so maybe it might have just been he was taking too much speed through the corner and had to end up braking on the grass, which is never a good idea. It's very unpredictable what it can do to your car. But it looks like Joe Nathan is actually struggling a little bit with understeer there, went right to the white line there through the final corner. So maybe he's just going to have to think about maybe saving his tyres a bit more if he wants to make any further progress later on in this race. It can be a tactic that pays great dividends, of course, saving your tyres, is you can then charge in the final few laps and make up quite a few positions we've seen in races gone by. But of course you don't want to save too much life for them, otherwise you'll be too far behind to make any kind of inroads later on.
Yes, indeed. So lap 19 out of 33 for the final race in the British Sports Prototype Cup. Already had the championship decided, of course, in race 1. That went to James Bryce-Harper.
Oh, someone's gone off.
And that's Lee Harrison. It is his teammate, so Lee Harrison down then into 13th, 14th position, as Tom Bellingham also goes off in sympathy in the background as well. He's had problems with that corner clearways in race 1, and once again it comes back to bite him in the backside for race 2. Here we go then, Nick, on board.
Looks like he's just went way
same mistake as race 1, just earlier on in the corner, exactly the same, just lock the tyres, too much corner speed in, and unfortunately now down and outside the points as well. But someone inside the points, Nick, despite his damage on his car, James Bryce-Harper, still going on that battle with Alex O'Dell.
Yeah, he can find no way by at the moment, but it looks like he's just going to size him up to try and get a really good run here out of clearways. And as we've seen him before make several overtakes around the outside of Paddock Hill Bend, and you have to feel that that's what's coming up now. Alex O'Dell, of course, no stranger himself to spectacular overtakes around the outside, but he's read James Bryce-Harper there. He's seen what he's done before, and he says, nope, I'm going to cover what you're doing. At the last second, very fairly moves over. Oh, James Bryce-Harper gets very sideways there, perhaps hitting the curb too much there, and has to wait for another lap to get by into 5th position.
What a save there from James Bryce-Harper. Very similar to Alain Menu, of course, at the opening round of the British Touring Car Championship a couple of years ago. Sorry, Rob Austin, I should say. Oh, no, but he does.
Saved it there.
Oh, dear, going through the left-hander of Graham Hill Bend and coming out, and once again going very hard on that curb. Has to wait for the traffic to go through of the Arreas Motorsport car, I believe, of Bjorn Golder. Meanwhile, on board with Neil Heatley, but Bryce-Harper down now and has lost a couple of positions and has lost all that time he had made up on Alex O'Dell. Very, very unfortunate there for the number 78. But Neil Heatley still battling with April Dillon for company. Campbell Wallace, of course, in the forefront of this shot. Knocking up the outside front goes Neil Heatley. Dillon there in 5th place at the moment. Linkovacius, of course, as you can see on the graphic, still leading the way from Pete Walker by 13 seconds. And then, of course, comes Campbell Wallace, and then this other couple of cars. And we can see in the background of the shot there, Alex O'Dell the number 23, of course, who was defending so magnificently from James Price Harper, has now got the track all to himself and is really able to put a nice couple of hot laps in. And you never know, if this battle continues onwards, he could be in with a chance of a podium position, Nick.
Yeah, you never say never. There's still 10 laps, well, more than 10 laps to go in this race. 10 very short laps, maybe. But, Neil Heatley going straight across the grass there, trying to recover, goes straight into the gravel trap there on the outside of Paddock Hill. Of course, that corner with the undulations and the loads going from the car, if you get something wrong, then you don't really know where you're going to end up really with that. And so we see James Price Harper trying to recover there from his spin. He's passed Sam Hill up from 9th position. He's going to try and get James Lambert as well, but he's blocking the way. He had a superior exit, but James Lambert simply blocking the way out of there as he's trying to fight Sam Hill as well, who locks his rears and has to drift through Paddock Hill bend there, but still somehow manages to hang on around the outside and looks like he's got a good chance of overhauling him into Druids. As I say that, he backed off and allowed James Price Harper through again. So these three going at it hammer and tongs here, even though for such a lowly points position, this is the spirit of Realish Racing. Whatever position it is, you're going to go at it tooth and nail to get it and claim it for yourself.
Incredible scenes here at the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. Oh, look at that. Very, very sideways on the way into clearways from James Lambert. Price Harper goes a bit wide going through that corner as well to try and take evasive action. And now as they come on towards the Bradburn Straight for the 23rd out of 33rd time, Price Harper really in the pound seats. Once again, though, James Lambert goes to fences, forces the number 78 towards the outside line. We've seen him take that move, but he's not quite close enough. Makes a bit of contact with the Tropico Motorsports car, and now Sam Hill's coming into play as well, up the inside into Druids Bend rather, I should say, for the Scotsman, and closes the door very, very nicely up into 9th place. Price Harper down into 10th, and contact between, oh, goodness gracious me. So contact there saw the number 00 of Sam Hill going off, and also, of course, we saw the other car, of course, of James Lambert, number 91. So the contact there straight into Lambert went Sam Hill, and then Price Harper, the concertina effect caught him up, and he went straight into Sam Hill as well. So unfortunate mistake there for Price Harper, but graciously slows up to let his rival back through on track. So good to see there. But Neil Heatley still battling with Alex O'Dell, Nick, and he wasn't battling with Alex O'Dell just a couple of laps ago, but O'Dell really has closed that gap up.
Yeah, Neil Heatley was in 2nd position at one point in this race, but I think we can see why he's now down in 5th position. Really does look like he's not happy with that car. Well, as we say, Alex O'Dell went straight on there. So the drivers find it very difficult as the tyre life goes down, as the laps go down, as the fuel goes down as well, just to be able to keep these cars going and handling as they would like them to. So Alex O'Dell is not completely lost that position. He's still got quite a few laps to make the ground up again, but hasn't really done himself any favours if he wants to get another top 5 finish here today. James Lambert here stalking the other Eiffel Power Motorsport car of Craig Woolard. So not been the greatest of rounds really for this team, although they've had quite a few good showings in the past. Brands Hatch really doesn't seem to have been their strongest showing.
No, indeed. So Tropico Motorsports not having a particularly good run, it must be said, here at Brands Hatch. Hopefully they'll be able to rectify things as we come in towards the new season. Of course, maybe they'll launch a new attack. Of course, a very different challenge next season as well. Keep it under wraps for now, but be very, very interesting. We'll tell you all about it at the end of this broadcast. But number 91, James Lambert, up the inside of the Eiffel Power Motorsports car of Craig Woolard. Through clearways they go, side by side almost between the two. That is where Woolard's race ended this time around, last time out. As they come over the timing line once again to start their 26th out of 33rd lap. Up the inside looks Woolard against James Lambert, but no way through there for the number 86 on the number 91. Linkevicius, though, meanwhile, Nick, is leading the way by a whopping 15 and a half seconds.
Yeah, we haven't seen much from him since he took the lead, and that is usually the sign that the leader has got things well and truly under control. Just a dominant display for him. You'd have to say, looking at the grid as we start this race, he was one of the favourites to take the victory away from here. And his pace has surely confirmed that. So, as we've seen, James Lambert has now got past Craig Woolard here. So things have just quieted down just a tad bit. Of course, I say quiet in Realish Racing terms. Quiet usually means about 3 different on-track battles going at the same time. But Craig Woolard has not given this one up either at all. We've just caught sight of Tom Benham in the background. So they don't want to come to blows really here. Otherwise, they could be in danger fall into clutches of the independent driver.
No, there was contact there.
That, they both contact Craig Woolard into the inside wall, and surely that must be some heavy damage on his car as Tom Benham goes wide And there's that Lee Harrison there as well, joining them, and Bjorn Golder.
Golder having contact also with Lee Harrison.
Sam Hill.
Sorry, Sam Hill, rather, as you say, yeah, having contact there also once again, and having more contact with Woolard. Oh dear, he's been so unlucky this season, has number 86, and once again, more bad luck for the Eiffel Power Motorsports driver. Let's have a look at that incident then, Nick. Here's Lee Harrison, and here's what happened to him. He went off at Graham Hill Bend. This was a lap or so ago. Someone else going wide in the forefront of the shot. Oh, that was actually, sorry, the lap that we just saw, rather, I should say. So Lee Harrison having his own incident and going straight off at Graham Hill Bend, with a couple more going off just in the front of the shot. But Arunas Linkevicius, what can we say about him? The Tropico Motorsports driver, easily the best rookie in the championship so far. Third he is sitting, and third he looks to secure as well, following this dominant display of driving, Nick.
Yes, it looks like I thought we were going to get a bit of a replay there, but apparently not. But as I say, completely dominant. Just a few more showings like this and he could have been in the championship hunt, really, but obviously he's had to learn the Realish Racing way of things, but he's certainly had the speed, and I think next season round he's definitely going to be in contention for the championship. That is, if the cars do suit him. The cars are going to be quite a different beast, but next season, as we'll get to that when this race is over. But for the moment, he is in complete control. We've got a yellow flag out there as he laps Tom Bellum. Tom Bellum has stopped on the front straight.
Good heavens, so that must be some kind of a mechanical fault there for the Independables driver. I wonder whether something has gone wrong. Meanwhile, something else has gone wrong. Oh, Lee Harrison, number 7 of the offenders, out of the race, Nick. He's having such a good run. We did see him have a couple of incidents in the last few laps, but unfortunately, he is out. Here's what happened. So going in, oh no, oh dear, that was very strange. Very strange. I didn't see a hint of opposite lock through there, and the car just gripped and he went straight into the scene of the accident. That's a very peculiar incident.
I can only speculate that maybe there's some kind of suspension damage from his little loss before, but nothing really suggests, as you say, it didn't look like he was fighting the car to just suddenly spear off like that. It's very strange indeed. Campbell Wallace there going wide. They're trying to hunt down Pete Walker. Campbell Wallace already had a great full position finish before. He's now battling. I think this is still for the podium position. He's got Pete Walker ahead of him, and he's got April Dillon to worry about behind him. So just a few more laps here for Campbell Wallace, maybe to take his first podium finish.
Yes, indeed. So that'll be very, very good for the Scotsman, who's had an interesting run. He's not particularly gelled with these cars. He's openly admitted that he's not particularly liked the Radicals. He often prefers more powerful cars, and hopefully next season will suit him a bit more, and we'll see him more up the sharp end of the grid. But nonetheless, things all coming good, finally, hopefully, for the Kaibutsu driver, because he's now looking within a whisker of taking second place there, Nick, as well, because he's right behind Pete Walker.
That would be an absolute incredible result. Pete Walker, usually good at looking after his tyres, so it's strange to see him starting to fall in the clutches of the cars behind him, but Campbell Wallace has really driven these two races absolutely superbly to the maximum of his ability. Pete Walker goes way too deep into there, and Campbell Wallace almost had a sniff of an overtake there, but had to back out a bit to avoid collision there. But with about 3 laps to go there, avoid Tom Bellingham, who's still parked on there. Of course, very difficult for the marshals to get that car away from them, so it looks like the drivers are just going to have to live with the car being stricken on the right hand side of the grid for the rest of this race. And maybe just a few double yellow flags to warn the drivers there. Oh, and it goes very deep there into the corner, not quite enough space there, and I think it's just caught out by Pete Walker having to brake very quickly. Someone's gone off there, Graham Hill Bend, I think.
Sam Hill.
That's was that Sam Hill? I thought it might have been Charlie Marriott.
Oh, it could have been
from the
very similar liveries.
The yellow facings from the car, but we'll see who that was later. But still, battle joined in. Pete Walker having again problems there going through clearways, and Campbell Wallace he's already good on in position to have his best result of the season and his first podium. Can he get second position? There's only a few more laps, but he can taste it almost.
Incredible. So will Wallace be on for a second place finish, or will it be third is best for the number 64? Goes a bit wide through the Paddock Hill Bend, and of course now the Junior Motorsports car of April Dillon is coming right into play as well, Nick, because she's looking up the inside into Druitt, and Wallace is in that unfortunate position of having to attack and defend at the same time.
Yeah, just he can't afford to be too ambitious now with Pete Walker, because as April Dillon is going to be right there to take away that podium position if he messes up. We are now officially on the final lap. Of course, these three have to cross the line before they're on their final lap, but looks like Arunas Linkevicius will be seeing him pretty soon to take another victory for the season. But this is really the battle to be watching right now for second and third position. Looks like Cam Wallace has got just a little bit more of a gap to April Dillon than Pete Walker has on him, so he might have just a bit of space to think about. One final challenge here on Pete Walker, who's shown before he's had problems breaking into here Druids, although he's actually covered the line very nicely here. But really, Clearways is going to be the final opportunity for Campbell Wallace here, unless he has a great...
contact!
Him, no.
Oh no, what a shame there for Wallace, and he spins as well, and that allows Dillon. Oh, what a shame there for number 64, Campbell Wallace, off of the podium at the dying stages of the race. Unbelievable, but it is indeed Arūnas Linkevicius who takes the victory here. The final win of the season goes to the Lithuanian. What a result there for the number 8. A cracking display of driving, and what a championship it has been. So's his third up. Unbelievable drama though, as also coming across the line, Matt Davies, what a race he has had, what a season he has had as well. Dillon there crosses the line in second. Pete Walker will take third by a whisker from Neil Heatley. Campbell Wallace crosses the line in a dejected 5th position there as well, Nick.
It says it all really that he's disappointed with a 5th place position, because he just was driving so well up until then, just got a bit unlucky clipping Pete Walker there and made the car unstable, and that put pay to that. But Arūnas Linkevicius looked even more dominant than James Price Harper's victory in race 1. They're 20 seconds away from April Dillon, who somehow snuck into 2nd position after all that patient driving, paying off again there for this week. Pete Walker ran up with another podium, so that's going to be a pretty popular podium had it for those 3. James Price Harper, of course, didn't manage to make any more headway up there, and we see Alex Odell actually run out of fuel, and Tom Bellin had some kind of electrical problem.
Dear oh dear.
So we are. Final championship standings. James Price Harper is our champion from quite a margin there from Lee Harrison, who of course had to the numbers in brackets you are saying is the drop scores in effect. So the brackets is the total amount of points that driver scored, but of course they had to drop their 2 worst results. Some of these drivers have had non-points finishes, or they have missed races in James Price Harper's cases. So there we are. Arūnas Linkevicius is the best rookie, finishing there ahead of Sam Hill quite convincingly actually, and there we are. Further down the order, a few more of the drivers that we haven't seen in every single round, but we have enjoyed every single one of their presences on the grid this year.
Indeed, what a fantastic season it has been for the Realish Racing British Sports Prototype Cup. For the 5th season of racing here at Realish Racing, we head over to the Hyper Brazilian Turismo Maestras. What a season that is going to be. Essentially silhouette touring cars. Final championship standings in terms of the teams. The offenders easily dominated things, 426 points compared to Tropico Motorsports, who at the dying stages of the championship leapfrogged Aureus 257 versus 254. Junior Motorsports there in 4th, Power take 5th, and further down the order we can see Eiffel Power Motorsports and Kaibitsu getting themselves ahead of the defenders as well.
And even the Independents managed to take away Northern Monkey's 16th position away, so honour there as well.
Fantastic. We thank you for your company for the Realish Racing British Sports Prototype Cup. From myself, Tom Brooks and Nicholas Galumis, it's goodbye.
I ain't never looked at your daughter, let alone to the altar, an eye for an eye till everybody's blind. Thank you, my darling, there's nothing left behind to find. Everything's so sad, to find. Everything's so sad. So say, to find. Everything's so say, to find. No, I'm not gonna win that quick. No, I'm not gonna win that quick without your magic. Even if I open the door without her knowing, stops me, she asks me, whose seats I've been so in. She's my magpie without any wings. podium. She take all my dearest things. Believe that ring. Everything's so strange. Everything's so strange. Everything's so strange. Everything's so strange. No, I'm not gonna win that quick. No, I'm not gonna win that quick without your magic. Everything's so, 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 everything's so strange.